went into some detail. Sorry, everything was muted again. So we covered the Army's birthday, went into some detail about, where the Army started, how it was started, all that. BB, you said you had some interesting things before we started the podcast.
Yeah, so just some kind of random topics. So you go. Let's start at modern history. So you have the American Revolution, Civil War, and then you have the Colonial Wars. Uh, which the American Revolution and the Civil Wars introduced guerrilla tactics, muskets, and cannon technology. And then you have the Colonial Wars, which was European military superiority and indigenous resistance, and then it had super long term impacts. But then you get into the World Wars, where being in the trenches, where that term came from. The World Wars are what started that. Them dudes lived in them trenches, and died being living in those trenches, like it getting sick and diseases and shit. Uh, then you get to the Korean, Vietnam, and the Soviet-Afghan War. Then you get to current day, to where the Iraq, Afghanistan, the Special Forces evolution, and then drone warfare, which is the newest dealio. Drone warfare, man. I don't know if you've seen all the drone attacks and stuff going on, like with uh, Russia and them, and Iran and or Israel and fuck. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Uh, but then the weapons evolution. This blows my mind. Going from melee to firearm. Could you imagine fighting a war with a sword?
They done it for many, many years before
I mean,
the gun was invented.
you're talking like 300 shit right there. You know.
You really are. A sword and a shield.
Yeah. Like, just go ahead and release the lion and let the lion do the damage.
Release.
Let's go Roman Empire over there.
You said release the line, and all I could think was release the Kraken. That's all I could think of. Release the Kraken.
But then to go from muskets to assault rifles, like you're going from a single shot musket that was super dangerous to load because you could have blowback on that musket, and you're talking losing a limb off that blowback, to modern day assault rifles.
Going from something that would shoot, one round every couple minutes because of the reload time, to now our soldiers have guns that are shooting around a second.
I feel like during the muskets, they're like, time out. Hold on. Give me 5 minutes. I got to make sure that my powder and I got to make sure my mix is 50-50 and it is good. Hold on, let me put my little ball in there and just kill you. Give me a few minutes.
So imagine this, and this will never happen, not unless it's some sort of reenactment type deal. But you take them guys that fought wars back in the days of the muskets, the cannon, and all that, and you put that same group of men, because back then women weren't allowed to serve in the military, up against our men and women modern day, with what our men and women have modern day. You put 1,000 troops carrying muskets and cannons on wheels up against 100 of our troops, our men and women today, carrying modern weapons, modern technology. how long do you see the other side lasting? What?
Oh,
What is?
that's like a 12-hour war or less.
I don't think they last 12 hours. Not with modern technology. I mean, and that would that would raise the question: are we keeping it as ground troops only, or are we using all of modern
Drones.
technology?
Yeah.
Drones, airplanes, bombers. I mean, if we bring all that into play, they won't.
It's a 30-minute war.
Yeah, I was going to say they last maybe an hour at most.
And the only reason it took so long was because the airplane had to get there.
Yeah,
The drone had to get there.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
was just flying time. The war is actually over in 60 seconds.
I mean, it's crazy the jump in technology in 250 years.
Could you imagine that, like, the weapons that we gave to our allies to use in their wars, we just gave them, like we give them old stuff anyways, but, like, we gave them the old muskets and stuff, and we're like, here you go, this is what we have to offer you. You want this boatload of cannons that, for us, it's just scrap metal. We have no use for them. What do you want to do? Could you imagine that? Like, we're giving these third world countries our damn old, outdated, 250-year-old weapon.
Yeah, if I was that third world country, I'd be a little upset. I'd be like, hold on a minute now.
Here's you a few swords too while we're at it.
Yeah, nah, nope. That's
So-
I mean, and you look, we still do that to this day. I mean, you look at what I used to do with the Apaches. I mean, we've given other countries Apaches. You look at like Israel and countries like that we've given the Apache to. Here's this Apache. It's the I will say it, and I don't care who disagrees. It's the deadliest attack helicopter the U.S. military has, and we're just like, oh, okay, here you go. You're our ally. You can have this.
Yeah.
I mean, the F-16's the same way.
So, well, that brings me into the next one. So you go from our tanks, go to World War One, the rhomboid, to current day, the M1 Abrams. So, like,
Substantial weight difference, substantial armor difference, substantial range difference.
again,
speed.
why don't we give all the rhomboids? Why wouldn't we save those? Here you go. This is what we're willing to give away. We're gonna give you the rhomboid. Here you go. Good luck. And then you got aircraft. So you go from having biplanes to stealth aircraft like the F-22 and the B-2.
And the F-35.
So, like, like, again, go be a flyboy with the biplane where the gun's gonna jam on you as you get shot down. If you haven't seen the movie Flyboys, that's a really good movie.
And even like the P-51s, I mean, you look at the jump between the P-51s and the F-22s and the F-35s, and at its time when it was built, the P-51 it had air superiority at the time when it was built, and you look at it now, it wouldn't come close to having any sort of capabilities against anything up there now.
And then you got the naval, so you go from dreadnoughts to aircraft carriers. We got freaking military bases on the water. Like, literally, they're flying them F-22s, F-35s. They're flying them off of those aircraft carriers.
A floating city of 4,000 people plus on an aircraft carrier. It's all it is. It's
a whole military base.
It's a
float.
Yeah, it's a floating city. Is all it is. It's crazy to think where it's come to, where it's come from, and where it's at.
you get into modern technology, so you get cyber warfare. That's a big one right now. Uh, hacking operation systems. Like you, that makes you think of like them hacking Morse code, and that's how they would get our war plan, because they were able to crack the Morse code to figure out where we were going. So now, literally, if they can hack into our framework, they can figure out so many operations. You know, it makes me think of watching the first Transformers movie, where the little robot gets on Air Force One and is taking all the information out of Air Force One's server room,
out of the mainframe on Air Force One.
Yeah, getting all of that classified information. So then you got electronic warfare, jamming, radar spoofing, ECM pods. Then space militarization. Look, now it's me not being able to say words.
Space Force, baby. Space Force.
Space Force, yeah. Freaking Steve Carell, man. All the satellites and such that are up in space. All the satellite imaging and such. Then future trends. Hypersonics. That are faster than the speed of light or speed of sound.
We've already got hypersonic aircraft.
Robotics. More like that. We're starting to create RoboCop. That's becoming a thing. You remember? Have you seen that movie Chappie?
No, I have not.
So it was a military movie, and they created a military robot. And the robot ended up like getting feelings and crap like that, and was being demilitarized. But they had come out with a better version of it that was supposed to be superior to it, and it was a good movie. That's scary. So think about like
there we go, Cosmotech. Sorry, but as I was saying, Cosmotech, you couldn't hear me. You're not going to hit a drone moving at 100 mile an hour with a bomb. It's not. I mean, it's. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's damn near impossible. I mean, it's not going to happen. That's why we have sidewinders and as far as the Apache goes, Hellfires and stuff, or not Hellfires, Sidewinders and stuff like that. That's, you know, why we have those air-to-air missiles is for that reason. They do have SAM sites, surface-to-air missiles, but you're not going to do it with a bomb. It's just not happening. And yes, you're a little behind there, Cosmotech.
So think about like the level of war. So you know you've got strategic, you have operational, and then you have tactical. Think about throughout all of the wars, like how the levels of war have changed. You know, you go to what we began this podcast talking about with the army and such. That was more strategic. Like they had to have a strategy. They had to know what was going on. And they relied on intel. But it took forever to get that intel for them to have a strategy. Which, a lot of the wars and such back then, a lot of them areas, they would get flanked. Like it would almost be like a setup. There were many of wars to where teams of military folks were set up. I feel like it's a lot harder to set the military up now. Like I feel like the military nowadays, they know where they're going, what they're doing, what the mission is before they ever even leave ground.
Oh, there's
not going to be many surprises.
No, I mean, you look at a lot of the wars that we've been in or we are in. We, as the military, knew exactly what we were walking into, what we were going into, what the risks were, what the dangers were. It's not a surprise. The only surprise that happens in war is the loss of the person beside you. That's the only surprise. Or the links. I mean, you get surprises as far as the links some of these people will go through in the things that they do to cause the loss of life. IEDs have become, and for anybody that don't know what IED is, it's an improvised explosive device. The links that they go through to come up with new ways to use IEDs and new ways for that IED to be set off is amazing. I mean, they go from they could be, at a site with a cell phone and dial a number, sets the IED off. They've got IEDs out there that if an MRAP or an Abram or something drives across it, it sets it off. It's weight sensed. It senses that weight just like the old landmines used to do. It senses that weight and it sets it off. And they're getting more and more sophisticated with them. I mean, I've heard of, they've put IEDs inside of dead animals on the sidewalk and set it off with a pager or a cell phone. They put them inside trash cans. The only thing I haven't heard them doing is putting it inside of I know this is horrible, but putting it inside of a human corpse and setting it off.
Not even a human corpse. Like, just a human in general.
Well, I mean,
like instead of strapping that bomb to somebody, no, here you go. We're gonna put it inside of it. Inside of somebody.
We're gonna operate on you, and when we operate on you, and when we get done and go to sew you up, we're just gonna stick a bomb inside and then sew you up.
I feel like that would be some like Taliban type shit. Like that's something the Taliban would do. Because you got all of them, like they're so dedicated to their leader or whatever, that they would be willing to sacrifice their life in that way.
So this is a question I haven't ever asked anybody, but it's always come across my mind. So you spoke of the Taliban. Who leads that now? Because you think about it. Sorry about that. But you think about it. Bin Laden's supposedly dead. So who in the world is leading that now? Who has control?
That's the same thing with like Saddam Hussein. Damn it. That would be like the same thing with that. Like who's leading Al Qaeda?
So, and you're not the first person that has said that, or first person I've even heard say that. And
I'm sure that there's someone that took up the slack on that.
There's going to be some controversy here, but I'm going to say it anyway. the events that led up to the Saddam Hussein thing. Saddam took absolutely no credit for the events that led up to him being hunted. As a matter of fact, bin Laden took 100% of the credit for that. He prided himself in the fact that he caused the events 9/11. Saddam, yeah, he may have played a part with Al Qaeda, aka Taliban, whatever you want to call them. He may have had something to do with it, whether it was his own free will or he was being forced. In that part of the world, Saddam may have not had a choice. Us going into Iraq and invading Iraq was nothing more than what I think Bush was finishing what his father started. And it was an oil war. Saddam never once, I don't think, to my knowledge, took any responsibility for 9/11 or anything like that. Granted, did he do stuff wrong? Did he, murder people and all? Yeah. He
killed people in the worst of ways.
He was feared in his country for a reason. He was stayed in power so long for a reason. People were scared of him, and they had every right to be.
He would behead your ass right there.
But in the same
with a dull fucking machete.
In the same sentence, you could also say that Saddam, in a way, had that country on lockdown. People didn't do anything. If he told you not to do something, people didn't do it. Because if you did do it, there was no jail time. There was no probation. It was, you do what I tell you not to do and you die. And if I don't kill you, then I'm going to make you suffer and I'm going to kill anybody that's close to you. So, I honestly don't think Saddam was a willing participant in anything that dealt with Al Qaeda or the Taliban. I think it may have been he had no choice. But I'm human. I have my opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one. But yeah.
You brought up bin Laden too. So.
Yeah, he can rot at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, but. I don't know. There's stuff on that's off too.
Yeah, people say he's not dead.
Like, yeah, exactly. Who did they throw off in the ocean?
Yeah, people say he's not dead. If he's dead, why didn't they show the body or prove that he's dead? But you've also got interviews with the boys from the SEAL team that have supposedly took him out that will tell you he is dead. They shot him.
Yeah, but you've heard mixed reviews on that too. Because there's some of the SEAL boys came out too, and it's kind of like there's stuff that we were declassified on. There's stuff that we were classified on that we can't talk about.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
there's always
we can't talk about certain things, graphic things that happen.
There's always going to be, in situations like that, there's always going to be, when they come home to get their debrief, there's going to be things that whoever it is, whether it be their commanding officer, their commanding officer's commanding officer, or even the President of the United States looks at them and tells them, you will never talk about this. Ever. It's just the cruel reality of it. There's things that if they talk about it, they could get charged with treason for discussing it. So
I don't know. I feel like, they say that they dump him in the ocean because it was it wasn't it part of like the culture for them to like put a body at sea?
You've got me there. I have no clue, BB, on that part.
Because why wouldn't you bring the body home? Like, it's not his home, but bring the body home.
Why would you want to bring him here?
Don't you want proof that he's fucking dead?
I mean,
like you would think
you can do that. You can provide proof that he's dead, but you don't have to bring him to this country.
Did you FaceTime with the president? Now that's a whole nother topic too, because Bush had a lot to do with Bin Laden and Bin Laden's demise. Bush had a lot to do with that, and Obama wasn't in office very long.
Obama gets credit for killing him.
Obama wasn't in office for very long, and has all the credit of killing that guy. Has all of the credit of doing it. That was set in motion. That was set in motion years before Obama's term. You know, there's literally a manhunt for him for multiple years looking for Bin Laden. I think it was almost 10 years they looked for Bin Laden.
Yep, and could never find him.
So that's another thing too. All of a sudden you find him. Under Obama's administration. All of a sudden you find him.
And see, this is where we get into conspiracy theories there, BB.
That's actually what Two Drunks is tonight, is conspiracy theories.
Well, you just brought up a good one right there.
We're probably not discussing it, but still. I mean, is something not off to you?
Something has been off to me about that whole situation for a very long time. But man's
been gone for 10 years, been in hiding for 10 years, all of a sudden find him. And this is at the beginning of the Obama administration. It was within the first year of the Obama administration, I'm fairly certain.
I have my conspiracies, and I have my thoughts about it. But at the same time, if our boys in uniform say they got them, then I'm going to put my conspiracies and my ideas of it behind me, and I'm going to take the word of the boys in uniform, and he's gone. He's dead. He's rotting at the bottom of the ocean somewhere, and
you hope
we don't have to worry about him no more.
They made the man Aquaman.
He's a merman now. A mer terrorist.
Merman.
Yeah, Merman. There we go. Merman.
He leads the Merbans.
A group of mer towelheads.
Oh man,
that was great. But anyway, guys, there is our salute to service for the evening. I want to thank BB for joining me. I appreciate you being here. It's been fun for sure. I
actually feel like I contributed compared to the episode that I was on, to where I didn't have much knowledge and such. I feel like I feel like I was more in my element on this one.
You definitely took it to a level that I wasn't expecting this evening. Of course, we covered the military's birthday, which is great, or the Army's birthday, not the military's birthday, the Army's birthday. And then our whole tangent as far as what we've got for military weapons compared to now, and then our wild tangent on Saddam and Bin Laden, which I think everybody has their own opinion on as far as both of those guys go. But I thank you for being here. I thank you for joining me. Definitely made it interesting. Definitely brung up points that I wouldn't have brung up tonight. I want to thank everybody that's watching. Thank you to those of you in the comments. And I want to wish a great birthday to the United States Army. I want to thank all of our men and women in uniform in the United States Army, as well as all the other branches. I hope y'all have a wonderful celebration, a safe celebration, and if you didn't or haven't watched the parade that's taking place in Washington, go back and watch it. If it's still going on, which I'm not sure if it is, tune in, watch it, the end of it, and then go back and watch it from the beginning. It was definitely an eye-opener, and it'll teach you a few things about the Army's history. And you get to see a lot of cool stuff that you wouldn't get to see otherwise. So definitely go back and watch if you haven't. But we thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, BB, for being here again. And we will see y'all on the next one. Have a great night. See you
Happy
later.
250th Army!
On a Saturday night, coffee hot, that flag still inside. Boogie and Tater with the red, white, blue, tipping their hats to the proud and true. From boots on the ground in desert sand to the hometown cop with a steady hand. Sirens wail, but they stand tall, answering duties never failing.